I'm in my mid-30s and I struggle so much to connect with women who have partners that are providers. I know this about myself. There's a level of envy in a way. I'm envious of them. And I struggle to empathize a lot of the times. Like I really do, because it's literally just me. Like I have to keep a roof over my head. I have to keep up with my health. I have to keep up with my happiness. I have to keep up with my dog. I know that's first world problems, but just like all these things I'm doing by myself. And I know there are a lot of people out there that can relate. And as humans, we are not meant to be individual creatures. We haven't evolved past that. We are still meant to be communal, and we are meant to be in groups and herds and in packs. And so to be in your mid-30s doing all of this stuff, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And it's so crazy when I think about it, because growing up, I was taught you need to be able to take care of yourself. You shouldn't depend on anybody. Definitely don't depend on a man. Like that was a whole spiel that was ingrained over and over and over again. And I'm on my sixth apartment in New York City by myself. And that was a goal. That was always like, get your own space, take care of yourself. I'm gonna tell you right now, in my mid-30s, I hate living by myself. I hate it.
In these difficult times, during an economic downturn, a dating crisis, and an absolutely horrible job market, and living in a country that is illegal for people to be homeless. Oh God, it has become absolutely more beneficial to be single, right? So 2026 will be the year of single people in absolute chaos. What you saw in 2025 is probably going to multiply in 2026, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you've been paying attention to the direction where everything is going, it seems like it's just going to get worse next year. Guys, it's your boy Andy Matrix. I'm back here on Angry Guys YouTube channel. If you haven't heard of me, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Andy Matrix Gaming, where I talk about anime, gaming, Japanese culture, all that good stuff. Click the link in the description. Make sure to like this video, comment below, share this video to help push it in the algorithm, right? And also, guys, make sure to follow Angry Guy on Rumble, because he's uploading videos over there that are not allowed on YouTube. So if you want to check out that spicy content, go ahead and click the link below. And guys, like I said, the economy is in absolute shambles. There's been millions of layoffs. People are struggling to find another job. People are being pushed into homelessness, and they're gonna have to find other ways to make money. And honestly, what better way to make money than on the internet? Which is why Angry Guy created the Angry Content Creator Academy. Will teach you how to create a digital product and build an audience online to start generating an income. So click the link in the description to check that out, and let's go ahead and get started. So today we will be reacting to a YouTube creator called Man Guide. It's another red pill and MGTOW channel. Many women in the West are worried because many men are choosing to be single and don't want to be in a relationship. And honestly, can you blame us? I mean, everything's expensive, dating is expensive, and a lot of people are like on student loans and a lot of debt, and it's just way better to stay single, you know, while you're trying to handle all this craziness in your life, you know. So let's go ahead and take a look.
I'm in my mid-30s and I struggle so much to connect with women who have partners that are providers. I know this about myself. There's a level of envy in a way. I'm envious of them. And I struggle to empathize a lot of the times. Like I really do, because it's literally just me. Like I have to keep a roof over my head. I have to keep up with my health. I have to keep up with my happiness. I have to keep up with my dog. I know that's first world problems, but just like all these things I'm doing by myself. And I know there are a lot of people out there that can relate. And as humans, we are not meant to be individual creatures. We haven't evolved past that. We are still meant to be communal, and we are meant to be in groups and herds and in packs. And so to be in your mid-30s doing all of this stuff, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And it's so crazy when I think about it, because growing up, I was taught you need to be able to take care of yourself. You shouldn't depend on anybody. Definitely don't depend on a man. Like that was a whole spiel that was ingrained over and over and over again. And I'm on my sixth apartment in New York City by myself. And that was a goal. That was always like, get your own space, take care of yourself. I'm gonna tell you right now, in my mid-30s, I hate living by myself. I hate it. I hate it. I'm a communal person. I like being around people. I sleep better when I'm around people, whether it's my family, my close friends. I hate being by myself. And so I'm at this weird place where I'm just like, what do? I don't know. And I just know if I had a partner that was helping me balance out this stuff, I would free up so much mental and emotional capacity to accomplish and get done all of these things that I have constantly in my mind, these ideas. Like I have so many ideas that could be life-changing, not just for me, but like, and not just for my family even. I know it could change my family's life, but for society, like I have all these ideas, but I'm by myself, and I can't do it. It's impossible. It's impossible, and it's crazy to try to accept that or come to terms with that. But I'm not beating myself up about it because I'm human, and again, humans are meant to be communal. We are meant to thrive in community. And again, we haven't evolved past that. I don't know why people don't get that. We haven't evolved past that. So everybody's like, oh, block this person, don't communicate. Yeah, and then you get isolated. And then what? And then what?
So one of the things that caught my attention when she was saying, she said, first of all, she said that she's 30 years old and she's jealous of people that have a provider. Basically, she's jealous of her female friends that have a provider, a male provider, right? And because she's all alone. And then second of all, another thing that caught my attention is that she said that her parents raised her to take care of herself so that she does not need a man. Well, it looks like her parents trained her to go against the things that she desires, which is really sad, it's really sad. And they always do this with the daughters, right? They always do this with the daughters. They don't do this with the boys. Right, and I've seen this many times. Growing up, I've seen this many times. They train their parents. They train their daughters to not need men. Right? Don't rely on a man. Don't look for a man. Yada yada yada. Just get a job. Be independent. Yada yada. So it's not just that there's like a feminist movement out there that's convincing women to live this way, but it's also parents that probably had bad marriages. And now they regret getting married, and now they're telling their kids, "Hey, you know what? Don't get married," or they tell them, "Oh, just don't rely on anybody. Just live by yourself, or just just get a job so that you don't have to deal with certain type of people, right?" But ultimately, they are encouraging the kids to just be alone. I mean, that's what happened with this girl, and it's really really sad because now she wants a man, she wants somebody to provide for her. And like she said, she has a lot of ideas that she wants to do, but she can't do it because she's alone or whatever, right? And so we got to think about what's also contributing to a lot of female loneliness in countries like America. But because it's not just a feminism, and I know it's the cost of living too. The cost of living is a big part of that. But it's also like just parents in bad marriages that just tell them, hey, just don't get married or just be single. You don't need a man, right?
Modern women live life as a 304 throughout their 20s and choose to be unmarried. But when they hit their 30s, a flood of regret hits them.
I can finally admit I'm just a relationship type of girl. I'm a lover girl. I like being in relationships. And sometimes people try to make you feel bad about being in a relationship all the fucking time. Oh, you don't know how to be by yourself. You need to take time to learn yourself. You need to do this. You need to do that. Some people, like myself, I like being in relationships. And it's not like I'm in a new relationship every fucking year. I be in relationships for years. I love love. I think that the end goal for life is to find your partner, create your family with them, and go about your life. Bro, I am done trying to do the whole, I need time to myself. I need this. No, the fuck you don't. Go get in a relationship. You want to get in a relationship. Eventually, that's the goal for everybody. Everybody, regardless of how you feel about it, you want love. You want to find love. You want to find the love of your life. You want to start a family. You want to do these things. These are things you want to do. So stop letting people make you feel bad for always being in a relationship. Oh, you always with your girl. You always doing this. You always want to do that. I never seen you single. Okay? Because I don't like to be single. The fuck? Y'all gonna be single. I don't want to be single. Fuck, that's just how that go.
You want to know the sad part about a lot of these single girls is that the reason why they ended up in that way is because they started hanging out with a certain group of girls that encouraged them to behave that way, right? So it probably started in high school, right? It started hanging out with those types of people, and then going into their early 20s, they started going to bars, nightclubs, all that stuff, right? And then still hanging out with the same types of people, and the types of people that were absolutely horrible in relationship, people that were traumatized, and then they just started giving bad advice, like basically people that are traumatized giving you advice, right? Giving you advice like, oh well, you don't need nobody, you can just be single, right? That's the funny part. And then because girls are so social, they listen to their female friends, and then what ends up happening is that for some reason girls like to listen to their female friends more than more than their parents or more than their husbands, right? Especially here in America, you see a lot of girls that they rather listen to their female friends than their husband. Like whatever their husband said, that doesn't matter. Oh, that's my husband. I don't care. That's kind of how they see it. It's just like the respect for men is just not there, right? So she's saying, oh, she's tired of being single. She wants to find the one. And look, we were all in our 20s. We all had that same amount of time. And let's face it. I mean, let's be real. It's much, much, much more easier for girls to find the one, right? It's much easier for girls to find a husband than it is for a man to find a wife, because you know, because a man is made to be a man. The man is always developing. Some people say that you're not truly a man until you're like 30 years old, right? That a man is not fully mature until he's like in his 30s, right? And that's why you see the grand phenomenon of like a 30-year-old dude with like a 21-year-old woman or like 25-year-old woman, right? Leonardo DiCaprio. Right. So, and yeah, and I bet you, okay, I am betting you that one of her friends got her into this situation, or caused her to make these types of decisions, right? Because, most parents, or at least I like to think most parents will like their daughters to get married earlier. Or parents would like to see their kids marrying at a younger age, in their early 20s. But a lot of these girls, they're like in their late 20s, early 30s, and they get closer and closer to the wall. And of course, as men get older, they go for younger girls. That's just the natural order of things, Guys, so not only is dating absolutely horrible in the West, but also the economy is in shambles. People are losing their jobs. I believe we are at about 5 million layoffs. And 2026 is not looking any better. As a matter of fact, layoffs are going to go. I've been hearing reports about layoffs, that said the layoffs are going to be even worse in 2026. A lot of people are going to be unemployed. Americans are going to be massively unemployed, right? There's going to be a lot of people being pushed into homelessness. There's going to be a lot of homelessness, a lot of people living in their cars, going back to live with mom and dad, or probably bunched up with roommates. There's going to be a lot of, just a lot of homelessness in America, and people are going to have to find ways to make money. Starting side hustles, start their own businesses, which is one of the reasons why the Angry Guy created the Angry Content Creator Academy. And well, Angry Guy's going to teach you how to create content to build an audience just like he did. And also he's going to teach you how to create a digital product where you can start generating an income from. So you can start saying goodbye to the 9 to 5, So click the link in the description. And when you sign up, you even get a free guide. Click the link in the description. Check out the Content Creator Academy. And guys, let's get back to our video.
They are independent, educated, and lonely. Women fail to understand that's the exact reason why men don't want them.
So I am very independent, and I always have been. I'm 22. I've never had a boyfriend. I don't really have a big group of friends. Like, I live alone. I pretty much do like everything throughout my day. I do it alone, right? And I started like my fitness journey alone because I wanted to, and everything I do pretty much is for myself, which is great. I mean, like, that sounds selfish, but like, I don't have anybody else to do stuff for, if that makes sense.
I think this is something that people don't realize. It's like, if you're creating a selfish lifestyle, then that's exactly what you're gonna get. You're not gonna have much people around. A selfish lifestyle gets you, just a selfish lifestyle. You're gonna be living for yourself, doing things by yourself, for yourself, making money for yourself, and that's why a lot of single people, especially my generation, millennials, a lot of us feel very empty because, even if you're making a lot of money, you still feel somewhat empty. Your finances are handled, but you still feel somewhat empty because, well, you don't got anybody to share it with, because the whole point of making money and having wealth is, at least back in the day, right? At least back in the day, the whole purpose of having money and wealth was for your family, right? I got wealth, right? I can get married. I can have a wife. I can have children, right? These are things that God created. This is what, God created men for, to manage these things, to manage the land. But nowadays, people just want to get rich just for themselves and just consume, just be absolutely selfish. And hey, I mean, if that's the kind of life you want, if you're that type of person, good for you. But um, it's not very fulfilling. It's not very fulfilling, and eventually, you're gonna get tired of consuming. You're gonna get tired of consuming, and one of the problems who live in this type of lifestyle of just consumerism is that eventually it's gonna lead you to like uh, this type of hedonistic way of living. Well, eventually you're gonna start doing drugs, to avoid feeling certain way. You know what I mean? That's how it starts. That's why you see a lot of rich people, especially in suburban areas in America. They're financially well off, but then they start to feel empty, and so they get drugs because they gotta feel something. The drugs make them feel something. When they have everything. Imagine that they have everything. They have everything, but they're still not content. They're still not happy. They're still not happy. So, what's the point of having all this money, all this wealth, and being this selfish if you're still not satisfied?
Well, I've learned to do a lot of things just like alone and for me, and that's great. And like I said, I spend most of my days alone. But like sometimes I do just want somebody else to care for and like hang out with on a Friday night. And I'm so sick of freaking hearing like, oh, well, enjoy the time single and like learn to be independent and learn to enjoy your company. Like, babe, I am my own best friend. I am enjoying my own company. Like, I love myself. I love my alone time. There comes a point in time. You know what I mean? And I am just like, I don't know what to do because it's like, I say I want a boyfriend and people are like, oh, well, it comes when you expect it. Or like when I was enjoying my singles, I have enjoyed my time single for 22 years. And I'm just like, how do you expect me to not want to have a boyfriend and to be in a relationship when the one thing, like I literally feel like my purpose on earth is to be a mother and like be loving and caring in that way. And like, I just like yearn to be loved and to like love somebody else. And that is just what I want so badly. So it's like, I can't just get rid of that want because it's something I want for my life, Like I'm sitting here on a Friday night and I just want to be hanging out with somebody and watching a movie, and it's not because I feel lonely or because I don't like my own presence, because I do. You're hanging out with the same person so often, you can only take so much of them. Like I want to hang out with somebody else other than just myself. I just don't know how to meet people. Like I've done the Hinge thing. It doesn't work for me. I've changed my identity completely. I put myself out there. I've secluded myself. I've done it all. And clearly none of it has worked. Like, I don't know where to go from here. And I can't just stop wanting it when it is my desire.
Okay, so here's what I have to say about this. There's a lot of reasons why men are single. For example, me, one of the reasons why I was single is because I had a lot of issues growing up. First of all, I'm an introvert. I was an introvert and I was very shy. I didn't know how to talk to people. Now, I did have a girlfriend when I was in high school, but for the most part, I was not good at socializing. I was kind of shy. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to get girls, right? And also, I was poor. I was poor, so it was a lot of things that I had to work on to improve my life, right? And that's why I started getting into self-help. Reading books like The Double You're Dating David D'Angelo. Those pickup artist books from back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. Those types of books, right? So there's a lot of challenges for men, and that's why many men you see men that are like single in their 30s, 40s, 50s, because for many reasons they grew up poor. Poverty is one of the main reasons, right? Poverty is one of the main reasons, and there's poverty, and then there's just finances. Especially if you live in a Western country where like women demand so much from a man. It's easy to end up as an incel, especially if you live in one of these mid states. In America, these mid states like Arkansas or Ohio, these states, the mid states. If you're in one of those states and you live in a small town, you're gonna end up being an incel. So there's a lot of things that can make a man end up just being single. However, I cannot say the same thing about females. It is much, 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 much easier for a woman to find a man, get married, and have children, right? All she has to do is just look attractive enough for a man, right? That's number one. Number two, just have a good attitude, good personality, and number three, do the traditional things: cooking, cleaning the house, give him that stuff in the bedroom. and you're all set. You're all set as a female. So this chick said she had what? She's been single for 22 years or had 22 years, something like that. So during that time, like, what was she doing? That's my question. What was she doing? Because she had all that time. And so why didn't she get married? I'm sure because she is a good looking chick. I'm sure a lot of guys threw themselves at her, and she said no, and probably slept with a lot of dudes, right? Probably sleeping with a lot of dudes. And then the men that were good for her, she rejected, like always, because we all know that young girls in their teen years, early 20s, they don't want a good man. Good men are boring. Good men are boring. Godly men are boring. You don't want to end up with a good man because it's boring and they're just looking to have fun during that time. And as women get older, men are still, a 30-year-old, 40-year-old guy wants a younger woman, not a woman his age. Okay? That is the laws of nature. That is how God programmed us to be. And you can, I don't know, throw a tantrum all you want, but that's how it works. That is the laws of nature, honey.
You know? And the thing is, too, is like, I don't need a boyfriend. And I know I don't need a boyfriend. And so that makes me even more picky with it, which is great because, like, I have very high standards. I know all it's going to do is add to my life and it won't take away from anything I already have and have made for myself and, like, everything I've grown. But, like, I'm ready for that addition to my life. So
any girl that tells you she doesn't need a man is a liar. Okay? Any man that tells you she doesn't need a man is an absolute liar. Okay? And the reason for that is because, let's say, even if she's not planning on getting married, or in her case she doesn't want a boyfriend, she's still gonna seek a man somehow, right? Whether if it's her father, grandfather, brother, uncle, grandfather, whatever, they're still going to be seeking the help of a man, because if she doesn't have a husband helping her with the things around the house, right? Things that she can do by herself. She's gonna seek somebody else, right? When she goes to the mechanic, it's gonna be a man. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a man fixing her car, and everything else. All these blue collar type of labor. So they always lie when they say, "Oh, I don't really need a man. I just need some companionship." Yada 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 yada. It's a lie. I have found it to be a lie. Okay, as a matter of fact, when they say that, is because there's a lot of regret behind it. It's not that they don't want one. It's not that they don't need one. It's that they feel as though, time flew by and perhaps they missed their chance. Perhaps they missed their chance to get the type of man that they want, and now they feel like they gotta settle for less. That's usually what it is.
After riding the carousel, getting used by Chad and his team, women want to settle down in a relationship. How ironic.
As a person that's been single my whole life, here are the 5 things I hate being told. 1, of course, is it happens when you least expect it. Oh my God, I know what I want, and because I know what I'm looking for, I know exactly what to expect. Second is, you're so pretty, how can you be single? First of all, I never said I wasn't. And second of all, yeah, exactly. Being single is a choice. Third, well, maybe you just need to put yourself out there more. Are you actually kidding, Stacy? Because I know you're in your, 6-year relationship and you had no guts to ever put yourself out there. And that's why you're still in it. And also, half the people I know that are telling me this are so much more shy. So I'm just like, I know you would never do this, ever, ever, ever. Fourth is you're lucky. It's honestly for the best.
Okay, so here's another thing that a lot of people probably don't really talk about is that, yeah, she's single, or she's saying she's single, but that doesn't mean that they're not having sex. So there's a lot of single people, right? A lot of single girls out there that they claim to be single, but they're getting pummeled. They're getting run through on the side on the weekends, right? Right, on the weekends. So she tells everybody that she's single. She tells everybody that she's looking for somebody, but she's still, doing the horizontal boogie on the weekends with Matthew, with Chad, with Tyrone, with Pancho, Fernando, Leonardo, with the Ninja Turtles, right? and yeah, that's that's one of the reasons. You know what the funny thing about that is? You know what the funny thing is? men, we're not that intuitive. Guys are not really that intuitive. However, we can usually men can tell when a woman has slept with so many dudes. When a girl has slept with a lot of dudes, we can tell. And we can tell because of the way that she talks, what she talks about, how she speaks about them. And that's something that throws a lot of men off and kind of scares them away. If he knows or he finds out that you've been around the block too much, you've had too many, one too many sausages, in the last 5 years, then that's probably gonna it's not gonna be very motivating to ask you out on a second date. Let's just say.
Please do not project your insecurities and your past onto my present and my youth and what I want out of a relationship. I know it's coming and I deserve to have a good relationship, and I don't need someone to talk down or say that it's better off that I just don't have one. And last but not least, you're braver than me. I honestly couldn't do the apps. To those people, they're usually like in their early 20s and probably will break up in like a matter of 2 years. Hate to say it. And they will be back out there. And I think that it's really ignorant for couples to think that they are permanently together and that things can't change, because life changes all the time. So what I always say to that is that, like, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, and I'm just a tough soldier, okay?
As somebody that follows Jesus Christ, as a Christian, I really don't like it when people like this bring God into the conversation, especially when you know very well you're not following Jesus Christ. You're not following Jesus Christ, honey. So don't give me that lecture, that speech, that, oh well, I'm a tough girl and God's just giving me really tough battles. No, you put yourself there. Okay? Like when people use God as a shield, in vain as a defense mechanism. I mean that has to be a sin. I'm gonna have to go back and read my Bible. That has to be a sin, because we're not supposed to use the Lord's name in vain. You know what I mean? But a lot of people like to use, Jesus Christ, like to use religion as a way to self-defense. Like, oh, God is gonna send me a man. God is just making me wait longer. Well, no, you had your chances. Everybody's had their chances. I've had my chances. You had your chances. Just say that you messed up a lot. You just say that you messed up a lot. How about that? How about that? Okay. And those couples that keep telling you, oh, well, you gotta, it'll happen when you least expect it. Those couples that she was talking about, those are people that were able to commit to each other, right? Those are people that were able to commit, which is something that chicks like this, they can't seem to do. So, yeah.
Men approach, but then get pushed away. Men spend their whole wallet and still get tossed away. Yet women still just do not understand.
Stitch or duet this video and give me your response. Ladies, we always talking about the good things and the positive side of being single. Let's talk about some of the things that are not so positive, that are not so great about being single. And it's really, for me, it's small things. It's never large things because I'm able to manage those. But it's the little small things for me. And here's one for me. All of my clothes that require to be zipped up from the back, I have to make sure that I either buy them large enough that I can slip them on over my head. Or if it's something already in my closet, either I can't wear it or I had to lose enough weight to get it on because I don't have anybody to zip up my dresses anymore. I know that sounds crazy and I know it's a little thing, but yeah, that's a big thing for me. I have never been able to manage zipping up my dresses on my own. So I have to slip everything over my head.
So now, obviously, this is a much older woman, right? She looks much older. I'm guessing. I'm gonna take a guess here and say she has to be like either in her late 40s, early 50s, something like that, right? Late 40s, early 50s, right? And she's saying that she missed the simple things about. She missed the simple things like having somebody to zip up her dress from the back or something like that, right? The simple things. And I bet you that she did run into a lot of dudes that that were willing to do that, right? that were willing to do that, but she didn't want him. She didn't want him, or like, she met a couple of these guys, and she chose the wrong ones, and that's how she ended up alone and single, right? It could be a lot of things. Could be a lot of things, but I always wonder because, look, for a lady like this, unless she was a widow, unless like her husband passed away, right? Which is that's a whole different case. That's a whole different case of ending up single. But the thing is, a lot of people are choosing to be single, quote unquote choosing. Um, and also it's not so much that they're choosing; it's also that nobody's picking them, right? Nobody is picking them, and thus they end up single, and there's a reason for that. But like a woman that age, back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s, even the 1990s, a woman like that would already be married, right? She would have a man in the house. She would already be married, and she would not be making these types of videos, right? She would just not be making these types of videos because her life would have purpose. Her life would be she would have some type of fulfillment, right? Because a lot of women like to pretend like they don't need a man. Like being in a relationship is not fulfilling. But no, all these videos confirm what the red pill has been arguing about. All these videos confirm like the philosophy of the red pill and MGTOW and other groups. It confirms everything that we've been saying, you know. But hey, we're just a bunch of the people in the red pill, in the manosphere, MGTOW. We're just a bunch of creeps, right? We're just a bunch of incels. We're just a bunch of bald cells, whatever you want to call us, right? That's what we are.
That's one of the disadvantages for me of being single.
All the independent boss babes know deep down that they need men. They are loud about their so-called freedom, but the truth and loneliness hits them all at once at night.
People who have been in relationships talk about how much they hate being single. It's always like, ugh, I miss the intimacy. I miss having a partner, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's valid, of course. But like, if you've never been in a relationship ever, have barely had any kind of dating experience, like it's on another level of missing out on things. Like, yeah, maybe having someone to cuddle with would be nice. I honestly don't know. Like, to me, the worst part about being like chronically single is that like my friends will talk about their experiences with dating, gossip about boys or whoever, and I'm like, I have nothing to compare that to. Like,
You know what? I will have to agree with her on this one. If you're single, whether if it's male or female, you always think about being with somebody. Okay, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. It's kind of like when you're broke and unemployed, you're always thinking about money, right? And you'll take any job to start making money, right? But I will say this, okay? I will say this: it's much easier for guys to be single than for girls to be single. There's a difference. There's always a difference, and this is something that the public likes to, especially it's mainly in the West. They like to deny this that they just like to deny these facts, these realities about men and women. I believe if you're a man, it's easier to be single, and that's why there's so many guys that are single nowadays, especially with the age of technology. With the age of technology, is much easier to be single now more than ever. You got internet in your hand with with your smartphone, and you have pretty much everything at the palm of your hand. you know but this also goes to show you that many girls don't like to be single, right? Many girls don't like to be single, and even in despite of the fact that they don't like to be single, they still absolutely refuse to settle with just a regular guy. um Women do not like regular men. Okay, if you're the type of guy working at a 9 to 5 job, they do not fantasize about you. Okay, they especially in the West, there's just something about that is a huge turn off. I mean, I feel like in the West, if you're a regular guy working a 9 to 5 making $20 an hour or whatever, 30 $20 an hour, I feel like um you're kind of treated like, oh, you always be the second choice. Like she's gonna keep looking, and then if she can't find anything, then she'll just settle for you. You're the second choice. Each and every freaking time, you will be the second choice, right? And I think now with the internet, with the red pill, with with all this, with the manosphere, everything that we've been learning, I think a lot of guys have realized that, and I think it also has saved a lot of marriages, and it also has saved a lot of people from getting married to the wrong person, and that's why many guys just are choosing to consciously be single, right? It has motivated many guys to just be single and just be patient until you do find somebody that that rather be with you instead of treating you like the last choice. Like, oh, I went through an entire football team and now I'm ready to settle for you, right? The you regular guy making $30 an hour at some freaking office, you know. Um, and this is what I was saying earlier is that especially this girl though that's recently talked, they have choices, right? They have choices, just that the choices that are presented to them are usually just a bunch of regular guys that are most likely good for them, but they choose not to be with them because they just need their expectations are just through the roof.
This thing that this guy is saying, like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't even know. I have like no frame of reference. It's fundamentally unrelatable to me.
She doesn't know what it's like to feel a man's presence as a partner because she never respected herself enough to get in a relationship.
I don't know if it's just me or what, but this is the most single that I've ever been. No dates, no talking phases, phone just dry. Somebody was to call me right now, I already know who calling me. And although I am enjoying my peace, I have to admit it get lonely sometimes. So God, whatever you're doing in this season, please don't do it without me.
One of the things that the feminist movement has done to women is to make them believe that their career is more important than their families, right? Their careers is more important than their families, right? And the women believe this, right? They skip on dating, they skip on finding a husband. They go to college, get their degree, get their careers making what, 50,000, 80,000, 100K, whatever. And they prioritize that. They work for years and then they reach the age of 30, 35, and then they are at this age where it's like harder to have children. They are at this age where it's like, where they're less likely to be picked by a man, right? And the people at her job, the men at her job, that are probably her age, do not want to be with somebody at her age. They want a woman that is younger. Okay, because my current girlfriend is like, I'm 36, she's 27. We're almost a decade. We have an age gap of almost a decade. I think 9 years, right? Right. So, and the older they get, it's like even at an older age, they absolutely refuse to believe this, and this is why women should prioritize finding a husband in their early 20s. Right, in their early 20s, they can find a man that's like 5 years older than them, that has a lot of work experience. I don't know, maybe the plumber that makes $80,000 a year, right? The construction worker that makes $60,000, $80,000 a year, something like that. And then once they have like their first or second child, once the kids are like 5 years old, 10 years old, then she can start working. Maybe like, and as a matter of fact, you know what? No. Even if she has 2 kids, there's many women that have 2 kids that they start a business. They can start a YouTube, they can start a TikTok, and they can start selling online, right? So just because they have a family does not mean that they cannot do what they want. There are women on YouTube that are mothers and they do art, right? They do like they do art commissions, art videos, arts and craft, and they sell it online, right? They make extra income. So it's not like if you have a family, your entire world is going to collapse. That you have absolutely no freedom whatsoever. You'll still be able to do things that you want to do, but it's like they were sold on this idea that no, like having children is going to be the absolute worst. You'll have absolutely no freedom. You'll not be able to do anything that you want to do. But it's an absolute lie. Like mothers, especially in America, with the internet, they've been finding ways of starting a business, while being a mother. So this whole idea that being a parent is going to take away everything from you, or like all your time, or you give you no freedom, is an absolute lie.
This is how women cope. They tell themselves sweet little lies, trying to seek validation from their female audience.
You hanging out with your homegirls who all got niggas. So when we go out and I ask for the niggas, they get mad at me. Hold on. Can I find the love of my life too? You go home to some dick. Guess what I'm going home to? I'm tired of electrocuting my coochie. I need some loving. So yeah, I'm looking for the niggas. I'm looking for the niggas. Where the niggas at?
Masculine, unattractive, and overweight. What delusion world does she live in that she thinks any man would be interested?
Well, guys, just stay single. Honestly, it's really not worth dating in the West. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect time to be single as a man. This is the perfect time to, to go monk mode. And while you're doing monk mode, work 2-3 jobs, start a business, save up a lot of money, and start looking for ways to get the heck out of the West and go down to Eastern Europe, Africa. It's a country that's safe. A country that still has a lot of traditional values, because otherwise I'm gonna be stuck here dealing with all this crap. So do what you gotta do, invest into crypto or something, because even with not just the economy, but even with dating, it's just like nothing is looking good. It's looking all grim, man. Personally, I'm getting the heck up out of the West, man. Honestly, I'm getting the heck up out of the West, and I cannot wait to fly. I cannot wait to leave, man. And that really is the medicine. It's not gonna cure everything. It's not gonna solve all your problems, but it will give you an absolute peace of mind. Whatever your thoughts are, comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. Guys, it's your boy in the Matrix. Godspeed.